Okay, let's talk about car prices right now because we know they're still pretty high, especially with the interest rates as high as they are. And if you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, it may be out of reach.
A tsunami of supersized American-style pickup trucks are hitting Melbourne roads as sales reach record levels. But some fed-up drivers say the vehicles have no place down under.
Walk onto a Ford dealership lot right now, and you won't see a sales floor. You'll see an apocalypse. Row after row of brand new $78,000 F-150s gleaming under the sun, untouched, not dozens, but hundreds of trucks. Small-town dealers are sitting on 80 to 100 units gathering dust. These aren't lease returns. These are fresh from the factory F-150s that nobody wants Ford. The Blue Oval has misread the market so badly that they've reportedly stopped building 2026 models altogether. They literally cannot sell what they've already built. Their lots have become open-air museums for trucks priced like luxury sedans. This isn't a simple mistake. This is a $2 billion inventory disaster that's about to reshape the entire automotive industry, and Ford's response is so reckless, so desperate, that it makes the 2008 subprime crisis look cautious. The first most fundamental problem is the price tag. The average F-150 on a dealer lot today costs a mind-numbing $78,000. This is for a truck that only 3 years ago would have cost $45,000 fully loaded. Ford took the vehicle blue-collar America built its identity around and transformed it into a luxury purchase, one that now requires a six-figure household income. Just to qualify, walk through any dealership searching for something under $60,000, and you'll find maybe 2 trucks. 2 out of 100. The basic STX Supercab starts at $49,000 and still lacks wheel well liners or even a bed liner. Meanwhile, the lots are drowning in Platinum and Tremor editions priced at $85,000 and climbing. Loyal Ford owners who paid record sticker prices just months ago are watching their trucks lose 30% of their value overnight. They just raised prices because they thought the gravy train would never stop. But that wasn't the whole story. While Ford was busy congratulating itself for holding the line on sky-high prices, General Motors and Stellantis executed a coordinated market assault that left Ford's entire strategy in ruins. GM didn't just release the 2026 Silverados early, they flooded dealerships with a tsunami of new models. And here's the kicker, they sold them with 0% financing for 72 months with decent credit. Ram did the exact same thing. They chose to move inventory and cut deals while Ford sat on mountains of unsold 2025s. When a buyer walks onto a Chevrolet lot and finds a comparable Silverado at 0% interest on a newer model, they don't just lose a sale. Ford loses a customer forever. The tribal loyalty between Ford and GM fans has raged for generations, but loyalty has a price ceiling. When that ceiling is $20,000 in interest payments, even die-hard fans start questioning everything. That miscalculation forced Ford into something truly dangerous. Ford's new strategy isn't a pivot, it's a betrayal of everyone who ever trusted the Blue Oval. Starting immediately, Ford Credit quietly opened financing to subprime borrowers for the 2025 F-150s. We're talking credit scores of 580, 600, 620. These are people who've been systematically denied financing on expensive vehicles for very good mathematical reasons. Ford is rolling out the red carpet. Their corporate speak announcement called it expanding financing options to reach broader customer bases. Translation: if you have a pulse and a pay stub, Ford will put you in a $78,000 truck at 18 to 24% interest. 24% interest on that loan means monthly payments around $2,500 for 6 to 7 years. That's not a truck payment. That's a mortgage. In most American cities, Ford knows exactly what will happen. Their analytics teams have modeled this 1,000 times. They know subprime borrowers purchasing vehicles at these prices have default rates approaching 60% within 2 years. They know the repos are coming. They know families will be DMN'd. And they are doing it anyway. Let's talk about what 24% interest actually means when applied to human lives. Imagine Marcus Williams, a 41-year-old construction contractor in Texas. His business depends on hauling equipment, but his old F-250 finally OD'd and died. His credit score is 598, damaged by business loans he couldn't repay. Ford Credit approves him at 23.9% for a $71,000 Lariat. That's $2,300 monthly for 84 months. He is now defaulting on contracts because he can't afford fuel after making truck payments. His business is collapsing. The truck will be repossessed within weeks, and his contracting license is at risk. That $2,300 payment represents over 40% of his take-home income. You don't know buyers with better credit pay $800 less for the same truck. You just know someone's finally giving you a chance. So you sign. Within months, Marcus is choosing between the truck payment and groceries. Here's the unconscionable part. Ford wins either way. They've collected 12 months of predatory payments, roughly $29,000, of which only $4,000 went toward principal. They auction the truck for $55,000. Then they come after Marcus for the $30,000 deficiency balance. He lost his truck, lost his credit, and he still owes Ford. And what happened next would shock everyone. Here is the revelation buried deep in Ford's strategy documents. They know this subprime program is unsustainable. They've modeled the repo wave. They've calculated the losses. And they are doing it anyway, because the real play isn't automotive retail, it's a taxpayer-funded bailout. Look at the timeline. Ford floods markets with subprime loans through late 2025 and 2026. Repos cascade in late 2026 and early 2027. Ford credits balance sheet craters under unsustainable defaults. By mid-2027, Ford Motor Credit faces insolvency-level damage. Then they go to Washington. The pitch is already written. Ford Credit's failure would trigger systemic collapse in auto lending. We need emergency stabilization. It's 2008 all over again. But this time, Ford engineered the crisis deliberately. They lobby Congress quietly on automotive credit market stability. They commission think tank studies on systemic risk in transportation financing. This isn't reactive scrambling. This is coordinated preparation for controlled demolition. Ford walks away unscathed. Inventory moved, market position stabilized, and the American taxpayer gets the bill. While Ford Credit quietly began its subprime program in late 2024, the numbers are already terrifying. Industry sources revealed that Ford Credit has already reclaimed over 8,000 trucks from subprime borrowers since January 2025. Those early loans are approaching an astonishing default rate of 47% within the first 18 months. This isn't cumulative. This is nearly half the people defaulting quickly. This only resulted from a limited trial. The program just went nationwide. If Ford finances 50,000 trucks to subprime buyers over 6 months, that's 23,500 repos hitting markets between now and mid-2026, 23,500 F-150s flooding auctions simultaneously. Here's what happens to used truck values when that wave hits. Catastrophic collapse. Every F-150 currently on the used market loses 20 to 35% of its value overnight. This isn't just Ford's problem anymore. If you own any half-ton truck right now, your equity just evaporated. And here is the truly insidious part. Several dealer groups have quietly approached Ford demanding changes to the subprime program, saying it's destroying their long-term brand equity. They've been told to focus on retail volume metrics. Translation: shut up and sell trucks. This crisis is a deliberate, architected event. In 2008, the failure was driven by multiple actors. Ford is engineering this one deliberately, and they're not alone. Whispers from inside General Motors, Financial, and Chrysler Capital suggest similar programs are being prepared. The logic is irresistible. If Ford successfully moves inventory through predatory subprime lending and survives the fallout, why can't we? The entire industry is reaching consensus that predatory lending is the solution to structural overproduction and overpricing. This isn't coincidence. When the entire industry pivots toward predatory lending simultaneously, it becomes a systemic crisis that could collapse the entire automotive retail model. Consumer confidence in auto purchases is exposed and evaporating. But there's an even darker layer to this unfolding financial S-storm. The government response to this crisis will arrive too late and go way too far. As repo rates accelerate through 2026 and consumer groups document this predatory lending scale, political pressure will build for dramatic regulatory intervention. We're talking proposals that would fundamentally reshape automotive retail and financing. Progressive politicians are already drafting legislation for maximum interest rate caps on auto loans, likely 15 to 18%, regardless of credit profile. If those caps pass, subprime borrowers lose financing access entirely, not because lenders are evil, but because the math doesn't work. If you can't price the risk appropriately through interest rates, you simply don't lend to risky borrowers. That doesn't protect consumers. It excludes them from credit markets altogether. But politicians cannot afford to do nothing, and they will be forced to do something, even if that something is economically destructive. For over a century, Ford built its brand identity on accessibility and reliability. The F-Series trucks that built American infrastructure, the everyman automaker. That brand died the moment Ford Credit started approving $78,000 truck loans at 24% interest to borrowers who mathematically cannot afford them. Social media is exploding with anti-Ford sentiment. TikTok videos showing repossessed F-150s. Reddit communities sharing horror stories of destroyed credit and financial ruin. The hashtag #Ford Betrayal has been used over 200,000 times in the past month. This is not normal consumer criticism. This is generational brand destruction.